have been introduced to you as Queen Mashaki Muhammad, but I also want you to know that I'm known in my legal community as Harriet Abu Bakr. I have practiced in the states of Georgia and California. I'm past president of the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys and past president of the Georgia Association of African American Attorneys, and of course a graduate of the UCLA School of Law, having received my doctorate degree in 1980. I want you to know a little bit about me so that now and in the future, you will understand some of the things that I have gone through to get to this position in life now. I came from a small town background in Watsika, Illinois. I know most of you haven't heard of it. It's a small white town, and I grew up as a child in that environment. And then I moved to Chicago, Illinois, where I was teased because I had such a white accent. But during those times, I got exposure to both worlds, and it has benefited me. I feel comfortable in the white environment, and I feel comfortable in my Black environment. Now, why did we move on to the international scene? It's because of an incident that took place in New York many years ago when Malcolm X was live and active then and a part of the Nation of Islam. Something happened on the docks, and the boats that were from Egypt were not allowed to dock and unload their whatever that they were having that day. I don't remember. But they reached out to Malcolm X, and he reached out to the community to find out what was going on. We found out that some of the Jewish community was involved in it. It had something to do with the dispute. Malcolm went to our people on the streets, got to talking. They put in a boycott that was very successful in Harlem. And soon, miraculously, the dock blockage was undone, and they were allowed to unload their equipment, their packages, everything. So from that, there became an arrangement that was made by Malcolm X with Gamal Abdel Nasser. He was president of what then was called the Jumhuriyat al-Arabiyyat al-Muttahida, United Arab Republic. This ended up in becoming an arrangement between Nasser and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They selected my then first husband, Akbar Muhammad, who was Elijah Muhammad's baby, and I to go over to Cairo and live there and become cultural attachés between the two unions. And this proved to be very, very fruitful. And it gave me the chance to learn the Arabic culture, learn the Arabic language. And from then I was in an international mood. One day, right around 1992, I believe it was, is when self-determination as an identity became an issue for me. My husband, my current husband, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, called me in and discussed the possibilities of us now approaching the international arena and letting it be known what our future intentions are as a people. This was something new to me. I knew nothing about the United Nations, and I really had to start from scratch. And some of the nooks and crannies I had to experience had funny stories behind them, but because time is limited, I won't get into that. But my husband and I spent 17 years traveling to the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland. And we were trying to get ourselves established and known as a people that fit on this world stage. I was traveling with my current husband, Silas Muhammad, and we learned a lot of things. During those first few years, we went under the auspices of a church there in Geneva that was giving us training in how to lobby in the United Nations. And at that time, I had no badge. I was not of NGO status. We weren't quite sure what we needed to do. So I did whatever was necessary. I found out that in order to give an intervention there, you had to come in under the auspices of a known and recognized NGO, which stands for non-governmental organizations. And we did find out that it was possible to do that. The guards at the UN weren't really all of that cautious about who was coming in. So if you could act like you belonged, they'd let you in. One day I was a Chinese gentleman who had given me his pass. And that just tickled the heck out of me that I could walk past them and go in there and give an intervention as a Chinese man. But we learned a lot of things in those years. And we learned that I was put under the guidance of a Dutch attorney. And he would take me around to people, introduce me, and let them know why we were there in the UN. And I want to share this history with you because a lot of our people and the world do not know that that happened in that time and in that manner. So this is my chance to share with you what we did when we first went to the UN. The UN organized a training session for us. They called it UNPO, Unrecognized Nations and Peoples Organization. And it lasted about a week. And we met in The Hague, the Netherlands. And what they did during that time was to teach us what we could do if we were interested in becoming a nation. That's what this whole entire week was devoted to, helping unrecognized nations and people become states or nations. And one state that came out of that whole session was the state of Georgia, not the one here in the United States, but the one over in Europe. They came out of that meeting that we had, and we learned a lot of things. So to us, and what we need to do as part of our topic, to what we look like, we have established, with the help of the United Nations, an identity for ourselves. And we're going to get more into that during this session today. And we're going to let you know some of the things that can be done, because they pointed out to us during that week that you don't have to have all of your services in place. You could become like the Principality of Liechtenstein. That's something they used as an example for us. And Liechtenstein makes contract with neighbors nearby for major services. That's how they got started out. So something for our professionals to consider is the fact that if we don't have all of the things that a nation should have to get launched, we could do something like that also. That's something that's available. So we will continue what it is that we can do as we go on with today's program. Thank you.